Well, hello and welcome, folks, to another episode of 162 Times, your daily baseball recap and preview show. I'm your host, Daniel Turner. It's great to be with you here. We've got a good one for you today. We are going to recap last night's Game 1 between the Seattle Mariners and the San Diego Padres. Seattle making the trip down to San Diego, California for a two-game series against a National League opponent. Games will be played in San Diego at Petco Park. And there was a good crowd last night, 43,000. They have a beautiful ballpark in San Diego, so we'll talk about that. We'll preview tonight's game, which is just underway, the second game in that series, and then we'll take a look around the scores from the major leagues on Tuesday night. So let's get right into it. Last night was a great game if you're a Mariners fan. Mariners won 8-3. Bats woke up. Logan Gilbert pitched amazing. So the win gets the Mariners their 50th victory of the season. They're now 50-43, still first place in the American League West. The loss drops the Padres to 49-46, second in the National League West. Logan Gilbert got the win, his sixth of the year. He's now 6-5 with a 2.94 ERA. And the loss went to starting pitcher for the Padres, Adam Mazur. The Minnesotan. He's now 1-3 with a 7.84 ERA. Not super good. The Mariners had 13 hits. When was the last time they had 13 hits? Incredible. 13 hits for 8 runs, 1 error. The Padres only had 4 hits for 3 runs. No errors committed by them. Gilbert was masterful. He's just been named an All-Star. He's, I think, maybe Seattle's lone All-Star thus far for this season, but he really, really deserved it, and he was pitching like an All-Star last night. He basically had a perfect game going through 6, though he had given up a cheap infield single to some guy on the Padres. But he ended up going 6 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 Ks, and he gave up 2 homers. So he gave up a solo shot to Joe Cronenworth. It was kind of like, whatever, let's keep going. And then he gave up a 2-run shot, and Scott Service pulled him after that. But anyway, he was really good. Taylor Saucedo came in and finished off the 8th inning. Just a third of an inning for him. And then we'll get to this, but newly called backup and healthy Mariner Gregory Santos pitched the 8th, and he pitched an angry 8th. It was great. He was storming and stomping out there on the mound. He looked huge and scary. It was awesome. Losing pitcher, Adam Mazur, he went 4 2/3, gave up 7 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned 2 walks, 6 Ks, 2 homers. Then it was Kolek, an inning and a third, 3 Ks. Matsui, 1 inning, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, and a homer. Davis, an inning, 1 hit. Peralta, 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned. And De Los Santos finished off the game with giving up 1 hit. So overall, San Diego pitching struck out 11 Mariners. Mariners struck out 7 Padres. Pretty typical, but the Mariners won the game. And it is a dangerous thing when the Seattle Mariners have their offense going and they pitch the way they pitch, because they pitch really, really good. So I mentioned, like, Gilbert was phenomenal. He went 87 pitches. He's 7 2/3 innings, 87 pitches. He was cruising. It's basically like under 10 pitches an inning. It was unbelievable. He had everything working. And then the bullpen looked good, and Santos came on. He threw 2 pitches high and tight to Jerks and Profar. They were 92-mile-an-hour sliders. Profar didn't like it. He backed off. And at one point, he kind of threw his arms out like, what the heck? Because this was Santos' first appearance of the season. And he had like a shiny glove, and he was wearing shiny shoes, and he was just, he's a massive guy. I want to see how tall he is. He is, well, he's 6'2". He looked taller than that. He's 6'2", 190. But I'm telling you, he looked bigger than that. He's 24 years old. Came over from the White Sox in a trade in the offseason. Anyway, if he's that mean and nasty all year, I'm here for it. Anyway, so that combination was really good. And then in terms of the scoring, top 1, Julio singled, scoring J.P. Crawford. Then top 2, Ty France doubled, scoring Jorge Polanco. Then top 3, Cal Raleigh homered, 16th of the year, scoring Julio, 4-0 Seattle at that point. Top 5, Julio 9th of the year, a home run to left center field, 5-0. It was really good to see him hit the ball like that. He looked really like he's very back. Top 7, Cal Raleigh homered, second of the game from the other side of the plate. Another low pitch that he just powered out of there. 7-0 Seattle at that point. Then bottom of 7, Cronenworth solo shot, 13th of the year, 7-1. Bottom of 8, Kyle Higashioka homered. David Peralta scored 7-3 at that point. Bullpen came in, no problem. Top 9, Victor Robles doubled, scoring Cal Raleigh after Cal absolutely laced a double of his own to start the inning. So that's all well and good. That's an 8-3 victory, right? Well, let's look at some of these lines. Julio was 4 for 4 with 3 runs and 2 RBI. Cal was 3 for 5 with 3 runs and 4 RBI. Like, if Cal and Julio, who are our best offensive players, can do that's terrific. Now, Luke Raley was 0 for 4, struck out thrice. Garver was 0 for 4, struck out twice. You know, Polanco was 2 for 4 with a run scored. That's really good to see. I mean, 13 hits. We spread the love around. I mean, Julio and Cal had 7 hits, but that was really, really good last night. It felt like we are so back, baby. Like, it felt like we were back. And there was a fun story told on the broadcast that reminded me of something. So the Padres, the San Diego Padres, were owned by Mr. Peter Sadler until recently, and he died in 2023. And he knew he was dying, and he tried as hard as he could to win a World Series before he passed away by spending huge amounts of money on free agents. So during his last couple of years, they spent 40% higher than the franchise record. But since his death, the Padres have cut their payroll by over $100 million. And so players like Juan Soto and Josh Hader and last year's Cy Young winner Blake Snell all left in free agency. But it reminded me of that episode of The Simpsons when something weird is happening with Mr. Burns, and Homer's goes in there, and then he comes out and he says to all the guys, he's like, "Old man Burns is hopped up or dying or something, and if you want something, now's the time to ask him." And then Hans Moleman goes in and he asks for like a new push broom or something because his broom has like no bristles left. And Burns does something really weird with Hans Moleman's head. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, so the Padres basically were owned briefly for a doped up or dying Mr. Burns, and he spent all his money on a like winning baseball team. Now, they did make the National League Championship Series, but they have still yet to win a World Series. So San Diego, along with the Seattle Mariners, the Milwaukee Brewers, Tampa Rays, a couple other teams have not ever won a World Series. But San Diego has made 2 World Series in their histories, whereas Seattle has not. We'll have more on the San Diego franchise tomorrow's episode, as we are on the road. So all that was good last night. It was an invigorating win. It was really, really good to see the boys playing the way they can, both offensively and defensively. The defense was outstanding behind Gilbert as well. So tonight, yet another matchup between these two clubs, and we will take a look at the pitching matchups first off. I'm trying to remember who's pitching. So for the Padres, it is Michael King, 29-year-old from Rochester, New York, 7-5, 3.41 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, 125 strikeouts in 108 innings. That's super good. 19 starts for him. He will be going up against Bryce Miller, Big Tex. And Big Tex this season is 6-7, 3.74 ERA, 19 starts, 95 strikeouts in 106 innings, and a 1.08 WHIP. So the Mount Pleasant, Texas native is looking for his 7th win of the year tonight. And who will be supporting him? So it'll be J.P. Crawford leading off and playing short, Mitch Garver batting second and DHing, Luke Raley batting third, playing right. Julio will bat in the cleanup spot and play center field. Cal Raleigh will bat fifth and catch. Ty France will be at first, batting 6th. Jorge Polanco will be at 2nd, batting 7th. Josh Rojas will be at 3rd, batting 8th. And Dylan Moore will play left field and bat 9th. On the San Diego Padres side of things, it'll be Luis Arraez leading off and playing first. Jurickson Profar will be in left field, batting 2nd. Joe Cronenworth will play 2nd and bat 3rd. Manny Machado will DH and bat 5th. Solano will be at 3rd base, batting 5th. John Merrill will play center field and bat 6th. Peralta in right, batting 7th. Hassan Kim will play shortstop and bat 8th. And the catcher will be Sullivan, and he'll be batting 9th. So far, so good in this game. We're going to go turn it on and then be able to bring you a good recap tomorrow. And otherwise, around the majors on Tuesday night, So the Astros won. They beat the Marlins 4-3. And the Royals, the Rangers also won. They beat the Angels 5-4. But no ground lost or made up because the Mariners also won. Elsewhere in the American League, the Giants beat the Blue Jays 4-3. The Twins and the White Sox were rained out. The Royals and the Cardinals were rained out. The Red Sox beat the Athletics 12-9. The Rays beat the Yankees 5-3. The Guardians beat the Tigers 9-8. And the Cubs beat the Orioles 9-2. In the National League, the Phils smoked the Dodgers 10-1. The Mets beat the Nationals 7-5 at home. The Reds beat the Rockies 12-6 at home. The Pirates smoked the Brewers 12-2. All-star Paul Skeens was not pitching, but he met Bob Uecker the other night, legendary announcer Bob Uecker. Skeens was down on the field and asked to meet Mr. Bob Uecker, and that was a nice moment for baseball. The Braves over the Diamondbacks 6-2, and that rounds out the scoreboard from last night. So, lots to look forward to, lots to watch for tonight in the baseball game, and we'll let you go so you can go watch it. Thanks a lot.